On this episode of Real Estate on the Rocks, we're going to give you 5 winning strategies to beat Zillow every time.
Welcome to Real Estate on the Rocks, where you get top shelf real estate conversations served straight up, never watered down.
That's fun.
Here's your host, Dave Snowberger.
All right, we are back and the bar is open for Top Shelf Conversations. I'm just going to try to do something cheesy. It just sounded stupid.
I liked it.
It just sounded stupid. Walla Walla. Walla Walla Wednesday. Yeah, the other day, Wyatt was bringing that up. So today we actually have Wyatt back in the studio. Hello, Wyatt Giles.
Hey there, guys. Good to be back.
Wyatt's with Concierge Title here in Austin, Texas, and he is a good person to have on your side.
Thank you.
And so we also have Marshall Tucker, my loyal and today thrifty-looking sidekick.
What's going on, everybody?
Hey, you do look thrifty, by the way.
And then we've got,
appreciate
I don't know if thrifty's the word. He looks sharp today.
Yeah, dapper.
Dapper.
Ooh, dapper would be the
I've never
word.
been called
What
dapper.
is that, velvet?
Thrifty is not the way you want to go.
Well, velvet could be thrifty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is
just
that?
fine.
All righty. And then we've got,
Sorry.
we've got, let me finish the intros real here quick, fellas. We've got James, G.I. James,
What's
Butcher,
going on?
new guy, Mendoza.
I still want my cleaver. Just chop it down.
Mendoza. Where'd Mendoza come from?
Oh, because I got some trash tabloid, or not trash tabloid, but trash mail.
Oh, that's
that
right. That's right.
Mender.
You were telling me about that.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Go on a
I hate
Mender.
people.
Yeah, he's going on a mender. That's what we call it.
I hate
James
people
goes
so
missing
much.
from work for 4 or 5 days. He's going on a mender.
I like it.
All right, so today's topic, hopping right into it, is going to be the 5 strategies to help you beat Zillow every single time. You have to believe that you can do it. Zillow is not the end-all, be-all of real estate. They have a big name out there. They've continued to stay in the headlines out there because they have great publicists. You have to realize that they have people pushing out their name every single day talking about them because they want you to believe that without them, you cannot succeed. That is a crock of
Baloney?
baloney.
Okay. I was hoping you said it.
Right, so I drop some 4-letter words on here once in a while, but I do try to avoid it. However, I'll give you that. Zillow's won the search game. You know, we talk about this all the time. Zillow, when people go to search for real estate, they go to Zillow. They put the name out there. It's the whole. Not necessarily even Coke Pepsi war, you know, but I mean, people go to typically Zillow, then maybe number 2, in my opinion, would be maybe Realtor.com.
Right.
Somewhere in there, you've got some loyal people to Trulia still, or Redfin, or whatever their name is. And then there's a few other certain ones. And then we have our local websites, like mine is, SnowbergerRealtyGroup.com, and I can say that more than likely, when people are going out looking at real estate around Austin, Texas, they're not going to end up on my website unless I'm paying massive, if I'm competing with Zillow's spend of SEO. And if I do that, more than likely I'd be out of business in a month.
But you can't compete with them money-wise either.
No, I can't.
They have lots and lots of money.
However, where I can compete with them, and the things that we're going to recommend here is doing the work and buckling down and going micro. Zillow's done a great job about going macro. Right, so they're everywhere. They've casted a wide net. Now we need to not go wide. We need to go deep. We need to go deep into our areas. Typically, the local real estate professional is someone that just really is in a certain market. When I always talk about market on the show, I'm like, where do we work? Right, so we're right on the edge of Williamson and Travis County. However, I push north and I try to stay in Williamson County. That's what I know best. Right, so I learned a long time ago that we can't work with everyone. Marshall likes to disagree with me on that and says that he'll work with anyone. However, we know that we can't work with everybody out there, right? There's 16,000 competing realtors in town.
16,000.
Yeah, and if there's 10,000 deals done in Austin, Texas this next year, we're only going to do 100. We can set our sights on more, obviously, and that would just be more of a cluster.
Right.
However, it's like we can set our sights on our 100 deals that we need to help 100 families or 100 people a year buy or sell or possibly even invest into real estate, and so we get to go macro on things. And that's where we get to be that hyper local professional that everybody talks about, or the digital mayor of our area, or our market or our audience, right? And so our audience are those people that are watching us in the market. right, in our market.
Right.
And so if they're in this part of Austin's, which is the Austin, Cedar Park, Leander, Georgetown area, that's where I like to specialize. That's my, I would say, honey hole, is where I cast my marketing, resources out to everyone in that area, and that is even still a wide net.
Now, I'm dying to know how you do this, though.
But I just get a little bit more granular.
Okay.
Granular. I'm going to spell that for you in a minute.
I like that.
And so I get a little bit more granular and try to, just keep omnipresent in front of the people that I want to help, right? And so we've done a pretty good job at that. And I don't need to buy Zillow leads. Now, I know agents in our area that do buy Zillow leads, and they buy them at a high level. I've heard spends of $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month.
Right.
That's fantastic. I don't have those type of resources to do that. I don't see the benefit of spending $10,000 to make $10,000.
But eventually, Zillow, plus you're competing with other people who are paying $10,000
right,
for
right,
Zillow.
Right. And you can take the other side of this argument, because some agents being entitled.
Sure.
You know some agents that are operating at a high level that have huge Zillow spends, but they don't spend on what we spend on. So, right? And
But the thing is, I think you're right. I mean, the sooner you can get away from Zillow and spend that kind of dollars on your own marketing, because Zillow's just going to raise the bar and raise the bar and raise the bar. And to beat these other people who are spending $10,000, $12,000, you have to spend $14,000.
Right.
And then it's going to go up to $16,000. When does it stop?
Right.
Get away from Zillow.
Right. And so, with us is that I think 100 deals is a great goal to hit every year, and that gives us everything that we need to meet our needs of our family, that I need to meet my needs of the team, and to continue to market, to continue
retirement,
to add, pump into my team to make sure that they're providing value to the customers that we do pick up. And so our sphere of influence and our database is fantastic. And then we're always out there also, punching the concrete, looking for new business that we can add into our database. That's important to us, that we can make them our sphere of influence.
Sure.
So we can get more raving fans. And so we're going to give you some tips on how we do that, how we're able to get in front of more people.
That's awesome.
And so the whole goal here is to get more people to know, like, and trust you. With Zillow, no one's going to know, like, and trust you. They're going to, they're going to know and like and trust Zillow enough that, okay, well, if this person represents Zillow, then I'll use them. But then it's up to that agent also. One thing I see that's, and it's not all agents, so don't get your tail feathers all mixed up, is that they don't do a good job. Zillow agents that are spending that kind of stuff, they don't do a great job about capturing that client and making sure that they're a client for life.
Right.
They get orphaned a lot. I see it all the
story.
time in my neighborhood. It seems like new construction, a lot of people start looking for homes on, say, Zillow, and then they press that little button, they want to know more, and they get an agent out there. And I see my neighborhood. I go through, and I don't necessarily farm my neighborhood, but I've always got my finger on the pulse.
Seeing what other people are doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I look at their agents, and I see a lot of homes that come back up, and they never use the same agent. And so, it just tells me that more than likely that agent, I click on them sometimes, and half the agents, 80% of them are out of business already.
Well, that's a good thing just in general. Whether you get it from Zillow or you're doing it on your own, it's follow-up, right?
Yeah. And so it's not only just the follow-up, it's the constant putting them in your database and then marketing to them. And whether
pop buys, they call them, right?
Yeah, well, there's pop buys, there's all kinds of things. I mean,
Right.
pop buys to me are increasingly getting more creepy, just because
unless
Unless you got some booze with it.
Well, there's good ways to do it.
You've got this older guy, with this big beard and everything, and I'm walking up to you and banging on, just like, hey,
want some candy?
I brought you a cheesecake.
You want some hand sanitizer?
Yeah, I brought you a spatula that says I'll flip for your business.
They do work though, but I get it. I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah, and so let's go ahead and dive into it. Some tips and tricks of how we can help out the agents, realizing you have to be hyper local. And that hyper is a buzzword. I get it, but you have to be the local trusted source, right? And so old school realtors, like when growing up, Wyatt, in the neighborhood, I can probably think back and look at a few of our parents, our friends' parents that were realtors,
right?
And they were the neighborhood professional because their sign was always out there,
right?
And this is before they put their faces on the sign and whatever else, but they knew that so and so's mom down the street was the realtor of the neighborhood, and she controlled the neighborhood.
And that was the first thing that came to their brain. Yeah.
And so she had top of mind awareness.
Right.
And really what this is it creating, standing out in a busy marketplace with the Zillows and the ZTRs, so the Zillow Truly Your Realtor.coms, standing out and being omnipresent. What can you do to do those things? So Marshall, let's go ahead and get into it.
I want to back up to what you said. You said there was 16,000 realtors in the area. Boop, boop, boop. 16,000 realtors in the area. That would be like
awesome.
16,000 McDonald's in the area on
Right.
every single corner. So you're going to have to really stand out and beat the other 15,999 McDonald's.
Right.
This is insane.
It's a perfect
Yeah, you didn't say Starbucks because there are 16,000 of them within
Yeah,
our
right.
vicinity.
That's a good idea.
Starbucks usually is just the most convenient one.
Yeah.
Half the ones over in my neighborhood don't have a drive-through for some reason. They're all like,
Walk-up.
I just can't do it. I'm
No,
not
that's-
paying $10 for a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Call me cheap.
No, I brought an espresso machine and invest in one. It's $1
Yeah.
a day, $2 a day, but still.
Mike Carroll sent out a text yesterday, and it was like, "Hey, Merry Christmas! Enjoy this coffee on me. Just use the barcode above."
Right.
I was like, "There's no barcode, Dave." I was like, "Is he doing a joke?" Because this is a picture of him above with a little Santa hat on. So I ended up texting him later on about the coffee, and he's like, "No, man, it's on my screen, and it just didn't go through on his."
That's a good idea.
I got the
though.
Are you
barcode.
talking about Mike Carroll's guaranteed rate over there, and you can reach him at Magic Mike at
The one and only.
880-000?
Oh, he's awesome.
Okay.
The one and only.
Yeah.
Number 2, get personal. So one of the many things we teach our agents about online leads is the importance of taking them offline as soon as possible. So what does that mean? Face to face.
Yeah, get
Get
face
him
to
some
face with
coffee.
them. Yeah, get them some coffee. If you're going to do some marketing or send them some text, I always kick off the first text or two with a video text. And so I just turn the phone around and I get real uncomfortable real quick, saying, "Hey, Wyatt, this is Dave Snowberger here over at Snowberger Realty Group. Wanted to say hi real quick. I hope to talk to you soon. Let me know when you have some time to talk. Just give me a text back real quick."
Video.
And then, bam, right off the bat, I'm like, "Hey, I'm at work. Can we talk later?" Yes, every single time. My success rate with the videos and the texting is through the roof right now.
Well, that's we were talking about that a little bit earlier. Put it yourself in that situation. When you scroll down your Facebook page, we're the ones you usually stop at. It's not the long written out text message of someone you really don't know.
Yeah.
You stop at the videos. And sometimes you're watching stupid videos you never really even watched.
Train wrecks.
You know what I'm saying? But you're like, I got to finish this.
I get
you know?
roped in on those train wrecks all the time.
Yeah. But video is, if you're not doing video, start doing it.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the biggest things you can do. Go ahead, Marsh.
So establishing and nurturing a personal relationship is something Zillow simply can't do, and its call center operators don't know your area like you do. You can help consumers from the beginning of the conversation with no handoff to another agent.
So what do you mean by that?
No handoff to another agent, so it's not going to be like they calling Zillow
They're
and
dealing with
Zillow
you.
passes on to someone else. Like you said, the trust in Zillow.
Right.
Now you're building that trust, so they come back to you.
So you're saying establish, like, I actually know what you want, and you don't want to start this process over and over and over again. You don't even want to tell them that.
And it's just interject right there.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily, they're not going to know you've got what they want. Right?
Right.
So you have to ask great
sell 'em.
questions.
Yeah.
Right. You have to ask great questions to be able to say, "Hey, look, this person has within 5 minutes your elevator pitch. Like how
when
how am I going to stand out above Zillow? Zillow, yes, they're a big, great company. Like I used to fight Zillow all the time. I used to go into listings, or I used to deal with a buyer, and they'd cite Zillow, and I'd be like, "Oh, Zillow this and Zillow that." And I realized I was never going to change anybody's minds, and Zillow wasn't
they
going
like it.
anywhere.
They've
right?
done a good job.
That's
Yeah.
their trusted source.
They've done a good job.
Right?
They've won over the consumer.
Right.
Yep.
So I had a client the other day that just all she does is the Wilks, some of our great friends, but his wife kept sending me Redfin stuff, and like, "Oh, did you see this on Redfin?" And I'm like, I don't look at Redfin.
Right.
I only look at the MLS, and I'm sending the same homes through MLS, but my link wasn't her trusted site. Redfin was, so I just had to download Redfin on my phone so I can view the properties. Right. And so I had to do
those
that.
properties weren't in MLS, or
Yeah, of course they were, but she's not looking on MLS. She's not looking at the emails I'm sending. She's only looking at what she wants to see on Zillow. She's doing her own criteria, and so she's putting her in her own search, and they're returning the same homes, but she's not even clicking on my email and my link.
So,
She wants me to see her Redfin stuff. So I just finally roll my eyes and say, "Okay, I'll look at your Redfin stuff," and I take it. I look at the address. I go over to Zillow, and then I go over to Zillow.
Go to Zillow. and then I cross-reference it with Trulia.
I cross back over to MLS, and I see if it's still active or it's what. And
how often are they not active? Just out of curiosity.
These days, the system's gotten a lot better. Way back in the day when I really formed my opinions about Zillow, they were inaccurate as all could be.
Like 3 months?
Right. There's still homes on there that show active, and they're not.
But even to this day, it's a good thing to go back to MLS because houses are selling, 3-4 days after being listed.
You should always be operating in the MLS or at least your website. So one thing that we do to really kind of get personal is we send them a link of the search as we form the criteria in our website, snowburgerrealty.com, as we put it in there, and then we send them a link out of that. So we know what they're looking at. We're a little bit more,
That's from your
can
site.
See. And so we can see how many times they looked at the property, what they discarded, what they're sharing with others. We can tell, just everything that they're doing on the other end. It sounds really creepy. However,
do you tell them that from the get-go? Like, hey, if you go through this search engine, I'll actually be able to kind of,
In a sense, we drop it on them. However, I think they pretty much know at this point because I can bring up things to them. And we have follow-up emails. There's drip
Do you send a picture of them getting the paper in the morning?
No, that'd be weird.
I'm just saying. I'm just playing.
I pick it up and I knock on the door and give it to them.
Yeah.
No, but it's not weird. In fact, that's great marketing. I mean, I would.
Yeah, it's not even. It's part of the follow-up program. So they're getting drip campaigns.
But people are used to this by now.
We're even sending stuff that with KV Core is what we use because we're EXP agents.
Right.
Is we can put in the search of what they're looking for, and then every time something comes up, it'll actually has an algorithm to go out and look for other homes that might fit their needs that might be in the neighborhood over.
That makes sense.
And so every other morning or once a week, they'll get another email saying, how about these homes? And sometimes we'll get a call on those. Sometimes, we don't hear anything.
And that's going back to the first thing was to get away from Zillow right away.
Yeah.
So you direct them to your website.
Right. And try to make that the trusted source for them.
Okay.
And so if it's delivering and they're seeing things they like, the problem is a lot of times that if we have to get super granular, any website, even Zillow, can't do it.
And so would you, because you just said that you don't try to knock Zillow because that kind of gives them a bad taste in their mouth.
No, I don't say anything about Zillow at all.
But you don't, I mean, they just said, hey, I got this off of Zillow. Do you say right off the bat, well, come over to my site because this stuff will be live MLS stuff. Sometimes those are not live or they might be sold.
We just send them the link and they're still going to shop us.
Take that Zillow out and just, I'm just curious. I'm curious how you do that.
No, even with Zillow, even with your links to your website, they're still going to be looking at Zillow. They're still going to be looking at Trulia. And they're more than likely talking to more than one agent.
Already.
Oh, well, they've been since the get-go because they're out looking at things and they're not loyal to anyone. The consumer is never loyal to one site. That might be their trusted source. It doesn't mean they're loyal to them, right? And just like with agents, they're not necessarily loyal to the agent that they're working with unless they're immediately a family member and there's that instant rapport there because they know them.
Right.
We still have to work on getting them to know, like, and trust us. And once we achieve that, then they're still going to go to Zillow. They're still going to go to Trulia or Realtor.com, and so.
But if they're calling you, and because y'all aren't advertising on Zillow, then you've already done half the battle.
They're going to call us because we're going to do the things that Zillow can't do.
Right.
Zillow can't show them property. Yeah, they can give them an agent, but they have to click on that agent. Then the thing is about whoever buys that zip code actually has to call that person back.
Right.
There's no magic pill with Zillow because you buy $10,000 worth of Zillow leads. Like I do commend agents a lot of times that do have a big spend with Zillow because their conversion is high, typically, right? But you still have the agents that they don't call those leads that they get. Something pops up, you have a new lead with Zillow, well, they're at the dinner, they don't want to talk to anybody.
Right.
I'm at dinner, and by the day next they call them, that person's already clicked on, Realtor or Redfins or Realtor's agent or whatever else, and someone's called back and followed up. Like I hit one thing that drives me up the wall with Zillow, right, is they take my information. I go work my ass off. I market. I spend my dollars. I get a listing, right? I put it out there into the MLS, and then all of a sudden it syndicates to Zillow. Now Zillow has presented 3 professionals that pay them money, to make them all look like they're the listing agent of this property.
Right.
And at the bottom, because I don't pay Zillow, I'm down there with no picture or anything else. It says the listing agent is, Dave Snowberger with Snowberger Realty Group. They don't click on me, they click on one of those people. So before I wanted to see who these people were, and I clicked on one, and within 10 seconds I get a phone call from some guy, and he's just kind of like, was that fast enough for you? And I was like, and he doesn't know that I'm the listing agent, right? So I'm like, what do you mean, is that fast enough? And he's like, well, You know, it's like you clicked on information from Zillow that you needed address on 123 Main Street, and
Right.
you know what questions can I answer for you? You know, and I was like, well, you know, how'd you get this listing? And I just kind of put them through the ringer real quick, and most Zillow agents would be pretty pissed off at me at this point. And when I started, I was like, well, hey, I would really want to tell you the truth, man. Thanks for answering all my questions. That's actually my listing. And he's like, oh man, I just blew like $75. You know, he's like, because every click you do is, so every time is like $75.
I didn't realize that. So you don't get an unlimited amount that come in. Every click that comes in, you pay for. Every
well, if you average it out, if you're spending $1,000 a month,
okay,
right, and you get X amount of clicks a month or impressions a month or whatever, however the hell they do it.
So impressions, you don't have to pay per. I don't know how it works. I just know people who use it.
You know, I'll tell you the truth, neither do I.
Do you not?
And so I know a little bit about it because Zillow's tried to sell us on it.
Right.
But other than that, like I couldn't tell you the inner workings of
I can tell you some pros and cons because I do work with some other people, and like you said, some people have success, but a lot of people don't because it's all about sales at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times, like you just said, they get a call and they're going to show a house that they know nothing about.
Yeah.
They've never walked in it. Right. They've never seen it. And it's the first time they've seen this address. They get this phone call and the person's like, I want to look at it. They're already at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like this guy's like, oh, you cost me $75. I was like, well, dude, if you get the buyer, you cost me $12,000. You know?
Yeah, right.
You know, and he's like, oh, that's a good point. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, well, hey, sorry for clicking the button, costing you $75, man. You know, hopefully the next one won't be the agent.
Won't be me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you want to see how they're
this guy knows who I am, and he sees me around. He's like, always give me that stank eye, like, oh, you're the guy that cost me $75.
You owe me.
Yeah.
Lunch.
You owe me.
I don't know, you dick.
He said it. He was mouthing it like he was going. He did it. I love it.
Go ahead, Marsh.
All right, so that brings us into number 3, be hyper local. So one thing Zillow, as you mentioned, can't do is they don't know the houses as well as they're intimate as the local agents do. So you know the neighborhoods, you know the schools, you know all the ins and outs of the market. And so you're the best one positioned to show them the house.
Right. So once you have that good relationship with your client or get them over, you can certainly present that, you know, Zillow's got you as far as you need to be. They know that. They know that they've only searched and come up with the information. That's why they go search it and then they turn it over to you, right? As their agent. So I'm never intimidated by anybody that's with Zillow or one of those agents inside of Zillow or whatever else. They're never going to steal my client because by the time that I can actually consider them a client, like I've already won that. I already know that they know me and like me and trust me and they're dealing with me for a reason. They can go all the time. Right now I've got one, Lisa Hummel, right? And so all the time she's like, well, I'm not seeing this on your MLS search. So I went over to Zillow and I looked at this and blah, blah. And it says the Zestimate's this. And I was like, Lisa, you know about this stuff. But, you know, I don't try to educate her anymore.
Sure.
I just take it and say whatever. And
in some form, doesn't that help you, though, a little bit?
They're helping me. You're right.
I mean, that just saved you some time. She found something that she had an interest with. I mean, so you don't have to hate Zillow.
On the buyer end, it certainly helps us out a little bit more when they can go search and they can do all their own stuff and they can navigate through everything.
But you don't ever direct them there.
On the listing size, it kind of sucks because we see this silly thing called a Zestimate. You know, I actually saw a realtor the other day. I screenshotted it, and it said, "Where else do you go to get comps other than Zillow?" And I about fell out of my chair that a realtor would post that.
Wow.
Yeah, I was blown away. You don't go to comps. You don't go to Zillow for
do
comps.
your own.
Oh no! All right, so they're low ball or they're high ball?
They're typically low.
They're low ball.
Yeah, really low. And so Zestimate is just really kind of like that AVM that you almost see that's attached to the MLS, that's attached to Realist. You know, when you go into your you go into your MLS and you like hit the tax information, it gives you that range. Right. And so what it is, it's just a collection of the data throughout the neighborhood, and then it's an average. So it's an algorithm that comes up with it. So it can't tell that you have a kitchen remodel and a bathroom remodel, and you put in a pool. Or you've done certain updates
outdoor
to the
kitchen,
house, right? And then it can't tell that maybe the house is dirty AF, and just they also nobody wants to live there except for the neighborhood rats.
Yeah, well, part of it also is kind of like when you go to the they say in some weightlifting places, or you go into the gym for guys, they up the pounds by 10 pounds to look like you gain some muscle. And they lower it by 10 pounds in the female, so it looks like you so it's always better, right? That you lose more weight at that place. So part of that's marketing too, I think, because they want to go there because the houses are cheaper.
Right. Go ahead, Marshall, on hyperlocal.
Still in hyperlocal.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess we could talk about that real quick. Is something to be stand out hyper local? So what does hyper local mean? We just went through it, right? And so you really want to stand out amongst your competition, and how can you do that? Typically, right now, video is the easiest shortcut
Digital
to
mayor
that.
is what I always
Yeah,
say.
being the digital mayor of your town is getting out, talking about certain things. A lot of you listeners out there know that we do this with Wilco Eats. If you need examples, check us out on Wilco Eats, or take a look over at like Whistle Realty Group. You know, it's like Kyle Whistle over there does a video. It seems like every other hour. And so, you know, him and Brian Kochi, they're always pumping out just massive content, right? And there's content driven people all throughout our business right now, and they all seem to be winning because they're standing out. You know, you're building that, what I always call that parasocial behavior, where people understand, or people. You're celebritizing yourself. We talked about this the other day on your radio show, which we'll talk about in a sec.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Is you know, people are wanting to, it gives them a sense that they know you already. So once you meet them and you're not faking it,
It's so weird.
people want somebody that's real and whatever else. If I'm standing in front of a restaurant and say, hey, I'm at the Pit Barbecue today, I'm going to go eat some brisket, come inside, let's check it out. And then I film my food and I do all these things and I talk about how great the restaurant is and I introduce it even helps the business owner, because if I introduce them as the owner and then they stop by and they see that person there, it kind of puts that person in this position to where like, hey, look, I just gained a client. Like, hey, look, I'm dealing with the owner right now. You know, the owner's back there. So
I know the owner of this barbecue joint.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with us over here,
Right.
being, you know, the parasocial behavior in a sense celebritizes us. So when I show up to a listing appointment, they feel like they already know me, right? So they see me on their phone. Right, they see me on their TVs if they're running an ad, or their laptop if I'm running an ad or doing something like that, or they hear me on your great radio show,
Thank you.
AM 1370 over there. And so, you know, that's what I love to build, is that I want to stand out. A lot of people think that's ego driven. Oh, he's always doing this, or he's always
But you're
doing
missing
that.
one thing you've mentioned before, and I got this from you, is also when you go into that barbecue joint, that's another social media stream that you're using, because he's going to post it as well.
Right.
And his followers are going to follow
That's
that.
the goal. Like
Yeah.
some of our videos are hitting in the 20 to 30 to 30, high 30s. I don't think we've broken 40,000 yet.
That's
on
amazing.
video stuff, but
That's amazing.
37,000 I guess is my best one yet. 37,000 views, and I don't know if they're 3-second views or 5-second views or whatever else. Because usually when I say that to people, they're like, "Yeah, but how long did they watch?"
They scrolled
It's
past
like,
it.
Right.
why do you always have to find a defect with something? It's like, I'm doing it and you're not. How's that?
Right.
You know, it's like, it's always somebody that's afraid to do video. Yeah, but how many are scrolling past 3 seconds? You know, it's like, why do you? What?
Will you coach people on this, like new realtors and stuff?
Of course.
You'll help
Of course.
them,
I've
because it
helped-
doesn't just start overnight. I mean, you don't get 30,000 views. Don't get. What I'm saying is, for people listening, don't get daunted.
You gotta build up to it.
You have to build up to it. It's practice.
Oh yeah,
you're
yeah.
practiced right now.
We've been
Yeah.
going a couple of years at it, and I mean, I'll still throw out a blank.
Yeah.
You know, like this morning I did one for Baked Bear. Right, it's an ice cream sandwich place that we had just stopped by
Sounds
as a
great,
family.
though.
You know, I mean, Nicole and Morgan, we stopped by and they did these things, and like, you know, I was like, I don't typically eat sugar, but this thing looked really good, and so I got like gooey butter cake cookies with blackberry crunch ice cream in the middle of it. Then they take it on a
Sounds
waffle
awesome.
press. They take it on a waffle
Shut
press.
up.
Yeah, and then they heat it up and then throw it in a little thing and send it over to you. So you can take a look at that video that I did this morning.
That whole process makes.
It's a minute and 9 seconds long. And it's Wilco Eats, and so on Instagram, that's my thing is Wilco Eats.
Yeah.
And so you can go on Instagram or Facebook, Wilco Eats, and go look at all the videos that we've done. And that's all it is I'm not asking for any real estate business whatsoever. However, most of my 2,000 people on my page for Wilco Eats, or the X amount of followers I have on Instagram, they know that I sell real estate. I just don't cram it down their throats, no pun intended, being a
But it keeps on reminding them. It just puts your name back in their head, David.
Right.
And they know it's David the
Right.
realtor.
And it's
but you're not saying I'm David the realtor all
right.
the time.
And like I said, it's that parasocial behavior that just really kind of fuels to this. I run into people all the time. Shit, I ran into you after a little while. And
That's
you're like,
right.
Hey, I love the.
I was in
Luling.
Luling, Texas, going into City Market and the most random places, and there's David Snowberger.
Yeah, and I'm about to do a little Wilco Eats and get in there. And it's like 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm about to get on some brisket.
But by the way, if you've not seen his Wilco Eats, I've also been following that as well, and not just because we're friends, because you're marketing it well, and you do have followers. So if this guy's going to take the time to teach you or to show you how to do this, I would listen.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate that. But most people won't.
But
That's the thing is they'll listen to me, but then they won't execute. That's what bugs me the most.
But don't get them daunted. And this might be a suggestion too, because like you said, I have a radio show. I've been a host of a couple TV shows on KBVO. I was the host of the Texas Custom Home Builder Show. And like you, or like everyone else who's listening right now, when I started, I didn't go to school for it. I mean, it was daunting. It was, but I had other people, fortunately, who were doing this for me because there were shows. But I learned a lot from it. And one thing that I would say is just get started. If you're doing video and someone else is not doing video, you're already winning.
Yeah.
Don't worry about sound. Don't worry about positioning.
Don't worry about equipment.
Don't worry about
any of that
all
stuff.
that's going to come later because people, your friends and family are like, that was awesome, but you might want to hold the camera this way, or you were talking too close. And there's different products, and he can go through this, but you can buy a $20 microphone attachment that'll go to your phone, go underneath your shirt, and all of a sudden you have great audio. So there's just a lot of different things. Just get started.
Right. My thing is we've done that. So I started with just my cell phone,
Right.
and then I worked up into having a great DSLR camera,
Right.
with lapel mics or a boom mic,
Right.
and the best tripods and the best gimbals and the best everything else. And you know what I execute the most with?
What?
My iPhone 11.
Yeah.
Like my iPhone 11, my iPhone 10,
Do you
my
use the
iPhone
gimbal,
7.
though? Do you use
What's
the
that?
gimbal?
No, not anymore. I mean, we do on certain things. Don't let me
Right.
BS you.
If you're following stuff, yeah.
Right, but I mean, most of my stuff is just really on the fly. I'm stopping by a restaurant. It's
Right.
not even in Williamson County.
Sure.
And people give me shit about that. However, it's engagement, right? People are like, this
That's
isn't in
it.
Williamson County.
That's it.
You know what? You're right. I eat other places than just my county.
Yeah, right.
You know?
To be fair, though, you posted a picture and everyone was talking about what city it was, and it wasn't even in that city. So
But
it's
you know what?
subjective on what people
That
actually
is
know about
advertising and marketing. Let them argue all you want,
Yeah,
right?
it gets people. It gets
Right.
people talking, and that's my whole
connects with
thing,
people.
right? So as long as the consumers are talking, and most of it's realtors,
Right.
Most of the people that hate my stuff are realtors. They're
Right.
like, I hate his videos. Like, why?
Well, one of the most-
because you don't do them. That's why.
Yeah. Well, one of the most famous, and I won't say his name necessarily, maybe you will, but he did that AC/DC thing when video wasn't really out, and everyone made so much fun of
People
him.
still make fun of him for that.
But you know how successful he is from that one video? Mm-hmm. It got him known to where everyone knew his name in Austin, and he got success from it.
Yeah, I used him as an agent on my house.
Did you
And so,
really?
yeah, when I sold down in Circle C.
Because I love ACDC.
No,
But the thing is, what I'm saying is, don't
he
worry.
was the neighborhood expert. Like he was
Right.
the guy that ran Circle C, and so of course naturally I gravitated. This is before I was an agent. This is before I even had.
This was before YouTube was a big thing.
Right, and so
I think it was MySpace.
He's,
I think it was, man. I want to say it was. I don't know.
I think it was a little bit after MySpace.
Okay,
but,
all right.
You know. Anyway, my neighbor comes over and she works for a title company, and she's like, "Oh my God, I've got to show you something about your agent that you
Right,
hired." And I was
right.
just like, "Oh, show me." So she shows me that video, and I'm cracking up. I was like, "That's awesome." You know,
Right.
he's standing out, and I was like, "It's a little bit weird."
It was strange.
The more I watched it, the weirder it got.
Yeah.
You know, and so.
But he's a good guy. I mean,
23rd time watching it.
oh,
still
and
watching.
he takes it well. I know him in the industry, but what I'm saying is don't worry about your content right off the bat. Go for it. Just go for it. And the thing is I don't want to hurt your feelings because right at the beginning, no one's going to be watching.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just
the video is going to suck.
and it's not going to be perfect. That's for sure. And that's why you keep on watching. You keep on doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
But
and-
we invite people over to our Top Shelf Agents page all
Right.
the time. So it's Top Shelf Real Estate Agents. We're probably going to change the name of that soon.
Right.
However,
I should do a coaching session.
I always put out what we use at least, like the
Okay.
apps we use, the equipment we use, and like I said, we use a standard,
this is
kind of
fancy.
tripods and things like that. And we have pretty
These are
much
not standard. These are nice.
these. This is the podcast.
Okay.
Well, we've invested
All right.
in this thing.
Okay.
So
All right.
we've got to give nothing but the best here.
That's
That's
right.
why we have you on. Nothing
Oh,
but
well,
the best,
whatever.
right?
Thank you.
So-
Thank you for the compliment. Even though it's
Marshall's
a lie.
itching.
No,
I can see Marshall's finger just staying on his
That's
place.
because
so
the
he
phone
doesn't
keeps
lose it.
turning off.
Well,
and I
he's
have
like,
to
hey, man,
turn
don't
on,
shut
punch
up
the
and let me
code in.
finish.
He's not doodling, though.
Sorry,
ahead,
Marshall.
brother.
Yeah,
Sorry.
not doodling. Number 4, be original, and that kind of just follows exactly what you just talked about with Wilco Eats and making videos and food and such. But be original is don't be sending out an email that says the same thing to 25,000 people. If you're gonna send Christmas cards out, just get them printed out. Actually handwrite them. Put a little note in there. Be more personal.
Be more personal. Let me kind of touch on that real
Yeah.
quick. And so, be personal with the Christmas card, and don't put in a business card.
Don't do that.
Don't use a branded Christmas card. This isn't
This one
about
hurts
pumping
me.
your business. This isn't about doing all this stuff. This is just about you saying Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it's going to be, and just, Happy Christmas, Christmas Hanukkah?
Christmas
Remember
Hanukkah,
how
yeah.
sharp all that was?
That's right,
But
that's right.
Merry Festivus, whatever, too, So
Yeah.
it's like, just throw that card out. That's all you need. They know where to find you. You don't need a business card in there. You don't need a magnet in there. You don't need anything else.
Let me
don't personally brand the stuff.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
So for us who have horrible handwriting, this one always hurts me because I'd love to write personal letters, but I have the worst handwriting ever. I think I might lose business with it. Is there an alternative?
Yes. Bannerseason.com.
Okay.
Bannerseason.com.
Okay.
I'll post a link again on our Facebook page,
Right. Yeah.
on Top Shelf Agents page.
Right.
And you can go in there, and then it's got my code in there. I don't think I get anything. I'm not sure if I get anything. I think it just
I hope you
recognizes
do.
that I brought somebody into the group.
Yeah.
But you can do all your personalized cards. You can write it. You can pick your font you want. You can make it look more of a manly font, or
Okay.
you can make it look more of a delicate font. I would
Okay.
say, or a womanly touch.
I was waiting for you to go for a sound effect for that one.
Am I a womanly touch? Is that what you're looking
I'm
for?
looking over here. He still has his finger on the page.
I don't want to turn off.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right.
Go ahead. Or I'll take number 5. Keep them in the store. So what I mean by that is, how do you keep them in the store? Keep them on your website. I always talk about it being sticky, right? So you want to make your website sticky. You want them to be, come to your page for everything they need with their real estate search and more, right? So we have our Wilco Eats stuff attached. We have a blog attached. We can put in stats if we wanted. We can do certain other things that make that website sticky. It's kind of like your Facebook page. If you post somebody else's material on there
Right.
and you say, go here, hey, check out this new ad. They click on that. Now they're gone. They're away from your Facebook
Bye.
page.
Yeah.
Bye. And so, did I hit all those, Marsh?
Well, what's sticky? What else is sticky? I mean, you'll have a search on there. You have your Wilco Eats. Do y'all have any testimonials or anything like that? Or?
Yeah, we have our testimonials. We have reviews. Instead of sending clients to a lender a title page, we have all the title information.
Oh, for like
on our
calculators
page.
and things like that.
Yeah.
Career
So we'll
page.
have some links to that keep them within our page.
Okay.
And so that's what we try.
Is that
to do.
expensive to do that? Put a page together
No,
like that for people who are starting a page? Or?
It's not necessarily that. It's just learning how to work the page, because
Okay.
a lot of these new CRMs and lead generation CRMs like
Right.
KV Core have those features available. You just need to work inside of it. There's so many features that these websites, these personal websites have, these CRMs have.
Sure.
We probably only use about 5% of the available bandwidth that damn thing has.
Okay.
Right. And so if you don't understand it, you really need to get into it. If more than likely your CRM, like us with KV Core, they have a training program that you go through, and so I made every agent go through. And the cool thing is you can't use it until you get the green light that you're done with it. You know, and so like you go through the training, and then it's like, okay, you completed your training. Now it opens up something else for you. It's not that you can't use it, but it opens up more features for you, so it's more robust. Right?
I like it.
And so robust websites are where it's at. So if you're going to use this as a marketing tool, and you're not really prospecting enhanced, you're more, just say marketing based over here, is that you generate the leads over here, but then you better really perfect your follow-up game, because once those leads come in, you got to realize that everything you've been spending money on are those leads. Right? And so that is a lead. When somebody clicks on something that you're doing marketing, that is, quote unquote, that is a lead.
A lead.
Most people in this business think that a lead is already pre-qualified and ready to buy or ready to sell. That's not what a lead is.
That's
right?
what some of those
That's a
brokerages sell you.
qualified
Yeah,
lead.
right. That's a qualified lead.
Yeah, that's a qualified lead. And that takes a few substantive phone calls to get there before they turn into that qualified lead.
Makes
right?
sense.
And
Yeah.
so they're definitely not a client. I hate that too, is when you guys talk about, even my team does that, is they get off the phone with somebody and it's like, my client this and my client that. I was like, you've had one conversation and I heard you say, like, call me back when you're ready to buy.
That's right.
It's like, that's
not
not
your
a client. No.
Right.
No,
Future.
no.
My future.
Like for life.
My future client.
Yeah. And so, at that point, they're a customer.
Sure.
A customer or a client.
Now, y'all have a lot of content. If someone doesn't have content, go ahead and get started. Like I said before, is anything on there
I feel
good?
like I'm being interviewed on my own show.
I apologize. No, and I hate it. I'm curious because I have you locked down right now.
I know.
And
I
usually
appreciate it, though.
And
You
usually
can't
you're with clients, so it's hard to necessarily lock you down. So yeah, I want to ask these questions.
Go for it.
So yeah, I just know you're successful, and so I definitely want to Find out, because it helps me help other people as well.
Right.
If they're not doing video, what is audio? I mean, podcast.
Podcast is a good start. We started this one not even a year ago. We're well over 100 episodes because we've put the time into it. So this is a huge podcast is a huge time commitment, and I don't think a lot of people realize the time commitment that comes with it. And if you don't have really the means or the money behind it to where you can actually record an episode, then turn it over to somebody that's editing professional,
Sure,
and can do a lot of the things for you. So I have that in house. Right, so I have.
He called you a professional, by the way.
I know.
You
better record that.
Hey, put time stamp it, date it. I
got a button for that too.
You better actually beep that out.
There's a mic failure. I don't know what happened.
And so we had that in house, so it makes us a little bit. And this has become a big passion project for us. Is that we're all into it. We all do our research. We get out there. Sometimes it's not as much because we're dealing with clients, and we show up here on Tuesday to record. A lot of times, man. I know that Marshall's
angry
working,
podcast or
Marshall's no, it's not. No one's ever angry.
I know,
but Marshall's got 4, 5, 6 clients. He's been working the whole weekend. Hasn't had time to sit down with his family or do anything else. And I expect him to pump out 3 articles about a podcast we're about to do.
Right.
And it's the same with me. It's like I'm sitting at home eating bonbons in my underwear. I don't have time to read all this.
Do you do that? Do you sit at home in your underwear and eat
not
bonbons?
my underwear anymore. It's more of a onesie.
Are you a boxer guy?
It's a onesie these days.
Where the little buttons in the backside come out?
Yeah.
All right.
So it's a bunny suit. It's the holidays, so it's time for Christmas Story.
I love this. We need pictures.
Yeah.
We need pictures.
They're coming.
They're coming? It is.
Don't hold your breath.
The next Wilco eats.
Right.
Me eating bonbons. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd get blocked.
Wilco eats at home.
That's awesome. Well, sorry.
Good time. So where were we at there? We've got we covered a lot of this stuff. So being the professional really and going micro on your neighborhood will help you beat Zillow every time. Don't be intimidated by Zillow. Hang in there. They're using Zillow as the search. Don't just take it with a grain of salt when they start citing Zillow as the professional or anything else. You need to lock them down, and how you're typically going to lock them down is showing your value that you're the reason they want to work with you is because you know the area well, you know the ins and outs of the neighborhood, you know all the crazy caveats of the neighborhood. You're there for them. You pick up your phone. That is your job, to pick up your phone. Your job is not to let the phone call go to voicemail and then text back and say, hey, what's up? I just missed your call. I mean, that makes me just want to strangle people when that happens to me.
I wouldn't call you back.
What's that?
I wouldn't call you back.
What do you mean? You'll
As
text
a
me
consumer?
back?
No, I wouldn't text you back. I'd be like,
no.
I just called you.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, I can't stress the importance of getting in front of the client and getting them to know, like, and trust you. Showing your value, getting out there, doing these things. The video helps circumvent a lot of that. That takes a lot of the steps that you would have to take if you weren't doing that stuff these days, right? So make sure your social media looks great. Keep it neutral. Don't take a side politically. Don't take a side, with a lot of
definitely don't do that.
The climate right now, the political thermostat is just off the charts these days. You don't want to do that kind of stuff. You can certainly have your opinion, and you're not being, I'm not being real, man. It's like, nobody wants to hear your realness.
Well, if you're going to sell stuff,
you really don't.
I apologize. Keep that on your private page or talk to you. Yeah, you're not going to get sales that way.
Yeah, and if
don't alienate anybody.
Yeah, if you're going to alienate people, just shut your Facebook down.
Yeah,
let it be private.
right.
Or at least when you do the post, there's a little button up there to the left that says, "Only me can see it." Only my friends can see it, or the public can see it.
Right.
At least let your friends see it. That's it.
If you want to alienate 50% of the people in Austin, do something political.
Yeah, well, it's not even Austin. That's just anywhere.
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 Right.
I mean, there's politics everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
Not just
fair
Austin.
enough. Well, hey, Austin's all that matters to me. How about that?
There's just a lot of homeless folks here right now.
That and Walla Walla.
Yeah, Walla Wednesdays. So anyway, let's get out of the studio here at this point.
And remember, if you want to join Marshall Tucker's referral network, please email to info@realestateontherocks.com.
What does that entail, Marshall? Let's go ahead and go through that real quick. What's your real estate network look like?
What do you mean, what does it look like? You email in, you join my list. If I have something for your area, I'll ship it out to you, and I expect you to ship something back to us.
Right, so typically what you're telling people is that you reciprocate on referrals.
Absolutely.
You do a lot of referrals here in Austin, Texas.
You give me something, I'll give you something.
Here. Right, you're at the top of the referral lists here. When they mention Austin, Texas, you've built a great business here by getting other agents around the U.S. to really, trust you,
Right.
And trust that you can handle all the referrals. Marshall's business is based, 50% off referrals, which is fantastic. So if you want to be a part of that group, do what he says, info@realestateontherocks.com. And that goes really for any questions you have for us. Reach out to us at info@realestateontherocks.com. I've got Wyatt Giles. How can they get a hold of you?
512-983-7769. I'll answer any questions you have.
All right. And so he's a title rep here in Austin, Texas, but can do any deals around
The state of Texas.
The state of Texas, which is
most,
huge.
yeah. There's some small counties we don't.
We at least have 7 or 8 listeners throughout Texas.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Whatever. It's
Maybe
like
9.
60 or 70,000.
Ooh,
Yeah.
numbers are in. We have 9. just lost
Hey,
1.
yeah.
Back to 7. Anyway, info
I've
at
had
Real
fun.
Estate on the
I've
Rocks.
had fun. Thanks.
Info at realestateontherocks.com, or you can reach us. We are EXP agents. If you want to have a conversation about EXP, which would probably be the smartest decision you've ever made in your life, text join EXP to 88000.
I'm out.
I like it. Yeah.